GeoSync GO 3D Viewer Measuring Basics. We're going to start with a sample point cloud. We have it selected. One of the first things I want to do is just check my document settings and make sure that I have my units set properly. I need to know I need to set the cloud units. What are the actual units that the point cloud is saved in? And I know in this case, this point cloud is in meters, but I want to display in feet. So I have these set properly. And then if I need to change those, I need to save and publish to make sure that my point cloud is set properly. Then I can go ahead and view the point cloud just by clicking the View 3D. It'll open in my browser. Once I'm in here, then I can begin to do measurements. Let's start with a point measure. Select the point tool, and then we can select a location or a point on the in the view, and then that will create a point, display the elevation, and save the X, Y, and Z locations. And we can preview any of our measurements from here in this tool. So let's look at measuring a line. To measure a line, left click on the screen to set a point. And once I've finished the measurement, I use a right click and that will end the measure tool. At any time that if I want to move one of these vertices on that I've used in the measure, I can move the mouse over, left click and drag to another location and adjust the location of these. Remember, these are snapping to an individual point, and we're in a 3D environment, so it can be pretty important that we come in and really look at this from different perspectives and make sure that the point is actually snapped to the location that we desire. We do a height measure. An example of this, I want to measure from this wire height back down to the sidewalk. Select my height tool, snap to a point on the wire, and then pick another point on the ground, and then that sets a vertical height measure for me. You notice now we have points, we have a line measure, and we have a height measure. I can preview those from my menu on the left side, and I can also remove individual points. If I want to remove all the measurements, I can use the X here, and that will remove all the measurements. I'm going to drag this point over. I'd like to save these measurements, and I'd like this point to become an annotation for me. I'd like to mark that as a defect in the wall, and I can check that as annotation. And then we're just going to save these measurements, and we're going to save those to a JSON file. We click that, that actually exports a file. In my download folder, I'm going to show in folder, and then we'll drag and drop that back onto our document and then republish. And what that does is that saves those measurements now, and then when I reopen this particular document, we'll notice that our measurements are saved with the document now, and we've actually added an annotation to this location that we can use as a defect in the wall. We can now take this URL and then share it with others for them to use as part of their project or for a reference purpose.